Who's there? Oh, it's you. What was your name again? I don't recall. You're one of Nova's fellow pilots, aren't you? On the Defense Force? Oh, so you're the one who applied to transfer to the Strike Force. Smart move. Defense is honorable, of course, as the squad that protects the population aboard our Starship. But the Strike Force is a very, very popular move. Not many people make it, especially on such short notice. Well, of course. The Strike Force is where soldiers with real ambition go. Your file doesn't look too bad. You've got enough experience. Your superiors respect you well enough. But just one moment. You're Nova's partner, aren't you? Why the sudden change? Well, it's good to see that my sister's lazy attitude hasn't rubbed off on you. At least, you still have some sense of duty. How is she? She's still wasting her talent on meaningless patrols? Is it so strange that I want to know what she's been saying about me? I mean, after all, I wouldn't want her to be ruining your impression of me. I bet she's been telling you all kinds of lies about how I'm so unfairly harsh, about how it's her own right and everyone's right to waste their own talents. But I think that she, along with many on the ship, benefit from having someone be so harsh to them. I mean, you folk would amount to absolutely nothing otherwise. Trust me. I can tell what kind of person you are. You're the kind of person that thinks themselves to be a hero. Always looking out for other people. And I know you probably feel very, very, very protective of her, since you've flown with her for such a long time. But I know everyone on this ship better than they ever will. And I know her much better than you do. Well, my harshness isn't unjustified. Squandering talent is the purest form of betraying your world, you know. And my sister, Nova, she's the biggest waste of them all. No, I'm not exaggerating. The fact that you think that makes it clear how little you truly understand about any of this. Nova, for instance, she is a natural pilot. I'm sure you know, but she's so much more than that. Marksmanship, strategy, leadership, public speaking, all of it comes so effortlessly to her. She would have been the perfect dictator. But she decided to turn her back on our family, abandon all of her gifts. So I had to take up the mantle instead. And that's why she, along with anyone who is caught slacking, deserves to be punished. She doesn't understand what she has, so she throws it away without a second thought. And all while the rest of us have to scrape in the dirt, just to keep up with her. But I've won. And now I'm better than everyone else. But I'm sure you didn't come to hear about all that. You came to appeal about your transfer. My childhood, that's oddly personal. Has she been telling you about that? You two must be closer than I thought. See, that's another thing that came naturally to her. It seems to come naturally to everyone else. Making friends. Even when you first met her, It felt normal to be close to her, didn't it? It felt right to follow her. She has the kind of personality that draws people to her. I don't know what it is. She doesn't care about it. Is that why you're suddenly so intent on joining the strike force? To get some dirt on me? Because of her? Or maybe, just maybe, it's because you think that I'm someone who deserves to be saved. Saved from what I'll never know, but you always use that rhetoric with me. I can save you. You don't have to be like this. Terrible. You're no better than her. What? Did she feed you some sob story about how you're close as children? Well, since she's told you just about everything, from what I'm hearing, I guess there's no reason to pretend in front of you. I was different once. I thought just like her. And we were close. But we weren't equal. I always felt a gap between us, and she never noticed it. No matter what it was, from math to sports to military training, she picked everything up so instantly. And I had to work 10 times as hard just to stay anywhere near her. Even when she slacked off and she'd get told off, it didn't matter. She'd just do it anyway. But she never saw it, never understood her talent. And that frustrated me more than anything. Haven't you ever felt that way? You see someone doing immensely better at the thing that you wish you were the absolute best at, and no matter how hard you try, you just keep failing. Failing what? You never understand. And then she would laugh at me, that stupid laugh, and tell me that it wasn't so bad to be in second place, and that she was just glad to compete. Everyone's so glad to compete. Terrible. It was as though all my effort, everything I did to try and beat her, was meaningless. How would she know how it feels to be second place? She's never been second place. She's always first. Apologies. Didn't mean to yell. You have nothing to do with my problems, after all. I shouldn't take it out on you. Just because you've been listening to her stories and mistakenly think you have a grasp on our situation. I'm sorry. Please give me a minute to regain my composure. Mark III, triple-barreled, plasma-powered with a 4-cell energy battery. Comes with a built-in water cooling, with a custom temperature sensing algorithm. Didn't anyone ever tell you that it's rude to interrupt people? If you must know, I'm reciting the specifications for my favorite weapons. Helps me calm myself after I've gotten overly emotional. Could it be? Are you a weapons fanatic too? What's your favorite? My personal preference recently has been the Artemis Mark III. The specialty material makes it feel incredibly light, but it's just as sturdy as a heavier gun. The action slides like a dream, and the handling is so amazing. The auto-track option on the scope is way better than the other Artemis models too, and the sensation when you fire, it's like nothing I've ever felt. I could keep shooting for hours and hours. Do you have a favorite gun? Oh, wait. You're a fighter pilot. Probably don't have much experience with handheld weapons. You do all your combat from the cockpit, after all. Well, what's your preference when it comes to mounted artillery? You must use it fairly regularly. I know one of the duties of the Defense Patrol is to break up asteroids in the path of our Starship's orbit. You know, things that might cause issues during flight. Do you prefer energy weapons? Or physical ones? I know everyone says energy weapons are more powerful and more efficient, but I can't stop loving physical projectiles. Oh, and I hope you're happy with the new weapons upgrades that we pushed to all the fighter ships. They weren't the most cost-efficient model, and it took me some time to convince the elders that a complete overhaul of the Starship's security and defense systems hardware and software was a worthy investment. But the new artillery, the extended range is just so wonderful, and the beautiful sheen of the paint they chose for this year's models was just irresistible. Oh, don't worry though, I'm very close with our weapons dealer, and he gave us a very good price as a favor. Well, oh, you're right. I guess I didn't need to ramble for that long. In any which case, I'm glad the weapons are serving their purpose. Cute. How dare you? You do know who I am, right? Maybe spending all that time with Nova really has rotted your brain. You seem to think that you can act like you're close to me. Just because I have a passion for weapons doesn't mean I indulge myself that often. Just every once in a while, when... Okay, maybe all the time, but still. All of the weapons purchases I've made have been completely necessary and financially sound. We have to be well armed in order to conquer the universe, after all. Dang it. I've tried so hard to keep my composure in front of everyone, especially subordinates. And now that I've gone and run my mouth in front of the one person who might actually report my indiscretion to my sister, don't you dare say a word in front of this to Nova. Do you hear me? I don't need her thinking I'm any more pathetic than she already does. All the times I'd ramble on about weapons as a child, I'd get laughed at. No matter how much I accomplish, everyone is just gonna think of me as the dorky twin. Oh, did Nova feed you that line about how she was born first, too? So full of it. You know, it's frustrating to admit, but you're surprisingly easy to talk to. I understand why she opened up to you. Overworking myself. Of course, anyone would think that. A little bit of honest work seems like a huge amount of effort to someone who's never had to work hard in their entire life. But I guess that does prove she cares. Even if she doesn't care enough to take responsibility and work alongside me. I suppose I can admit to you that I've been taking on more work than I should. We've lost a lot of soldiers in the past few missions. The strike squad's morale is low. Their cracks are beginning to show. That's why I opened up this round of recruitment to the general force for the first time, instead of having it be strictly recommendation-based, like it usually is. I thought some fresh blood would rejuvenate the ranks, and hopefully bolster their trust in me as the leader. But I often feel like I'm failing them, and everyone can tell. No matter how hard I work, I can never be as good of a leader as Dad was. Or as Nova could be. She would just take up the task. Nova could surpass my years of work in weeks. But instead, she's content to rot away on the defense squad, flying the same rounds every day, breaking up asteroids, instead of helping me. Does she despise us that much? Like I'm sure everyone else secretly does. Does she think our family is that worthless? Do you? Maybe it is. Maybe I'm really the only one trying to hold on to the ghost of a past long gone. And maybe I'm only doing this because I feel like I have to, instead of feeling like I want to. What I have to do and what I want to do is blended together so much that I don't even know how to distinguish between the two. Maybe everyone else be happier if I was just out of the picture. Just stop trying. And if I disappeared. Constantly trying to uphold such heavy duty. It's exhausting. I have no idea how our parents did it. Maybe they were able to do it because they were together. Maybe they were evil. They definitely were, but they're my parents, so that must make it at least a little bit morally gray, right? My own sister abandoned me. Left me alone with this burden. Even though she has the power to help. Why? Do you want to hear a story? I suppose you already have been. When I was a child, our father gave us a present. A guidebook about how to play a certain strategy board game. He seemed so excited. He and our mother both wanted us to start training to be the next dictators as soon as possible. And I wanted to make them happy. And I wanted them to be proud of me. So I studied that book until it was falling apart. Nova wasn't interested, of course. At the time, she was already addicted to those console games she loved so much. She complained and complained and complained about being forced to sit at a desk and study stratagems like it was torture. Not everyone has a love of the game like I do. After a few weeks, Mom and Dad returned from a mission, and I decided to challenge Nova to a game to show them how much I learned. And since she hadn't studied, and I'd studied so much, I thought I'd beat her easily. So I quickly taught her how to move the pieces. She didn't even know that, and we competed in front of our parents. I was the one who studied. So how did she still manage to beat me? An hour before, she hadn't known anything, so how did she crush me without trying? And that's when I realized how big the gap it is between me, her, everyone else. I thought I might just be stupid, but it didn't take long for me to understand. I was the normal one, and she was the monster. A genius in every sense of the word. Nothing more to say, that's just how it is. It would be so easy for her to become the prodigy, and for me to become the disappointment child. But not anymore. I have big plans. Greater plans than she could ever come up with. Finding the secret to eternal life. We have that project underway. I am developing tech that expands human lifespans by several hundreds of years. And who knows how much longer that'll be soon. Military tech, guns, artillery that makes everyone shudder in fear. If I didn't throw myself into being the perfect daughter, into making all these plans, continuing all the hard work they built up, what use would anyone have for me? Even if I worked hard my entire life, the moment Nova decided to put in a bit of effort, she could easily destroy everything I built in an instant. And if I don't plan, that could be anyone else. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be pushing all this on you. Thank you. You're very kind. I've always thought that even if I don't have talent, then I can just work harder than anyone else, combined. What I want, just as myself, as Artemis, and not as a daughter or twin, just me. Well, I'm not sure. Maybe I would want to be close to my sister again. Maybe I would want to have friends. Find connection. I mean, it's awfully lonely at the top. Don't look at me like that. Because I don't know how to feel when you look at me like that. Well, the chance for all those things has passed. There's too much bad blood between me and everyone in my life for anything to be done about it now. So, I don't know, sometimes I just want to be able to sleep, lie down, without thinking of my tasks for the next day, or the Starship's problems, or what time I have to wake up the next morning. I just want to be able to sleep without worrying about anything for as long as I want. I want to not be the commander, the supreme overlord, whatever my vague title is this month, just for a moment. A silly dream, right? I mean, what are we, if not vessels, trudging through this mortal coil, getting things done, going to sleep, only to do everything all over again? Who do we become when we're at a standstill, just resting, staring at the ceiling? Who? You want to help me rest? What could you possibly do? No offense, but you're a squad member. I've got paperwork to file, stratagems to think about. I don't have time to rest. Well, yes, I know that rest is critical to proper brain function, but I don't think... Well, no. I could never force any of my subordinates to overwork themselves like this, even if I'm a little bit harsh. I suppose you have a point. Could be a strategy for the longevity of my campaign. Maybe I should take a break. I don't even remember what that feels like. It's been so long since I've done anything but work constantly from the moment I wake up. Tell you what, I'll take one of these breaks. But it must be quick. And I need to wake up soon to finish these papers. Hey, where are you going? Well, if I fall asleep now, I'll definitely sleep through the night. And you're the one who suggested I take a break, so you need to take responsibility. I need you to stay here and Wake me up in exactly half an hour. Don't let me oversleep. Got it? Consider this your first task as a member of my strike squad. Yes, I suppose your transfer is approved. After all, if I didn't approve it, he'd be able to blackmail me with all the things I've ever told you about Nova. And this way, at least I'll be able to see the look on her face when she finds out I've stolen her partner from the Defense Force. It's been forever since I was able to put one over Nova in anything. And somehow, I think I'm looking forward to it. Now get over here. Yes. Second command from your commanding officer. Must be loud.